So it's been a long time coming, huh, Clay?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Clay Doggy's here.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's Joel from Nerd Junkie.
Hey, what's up?
How about that?
How you doing?
How's everybody doing? I'm Clay. We
Clay.
also have Mel, special guest.
Yes,
OG
special
from
guest.
OG.
Also, your mod on the chat. So if you got anything important to say on the chats, then go right ahead.
So, like, make it pop. You know, like pizzazz
Yes.
is what we want here.
Yes, we usually take chat comments in the form of compliments, and then we'll just go from there.
or monetary compensation.
Yes, there you
Also-
go. Yeah.
I mean, I'm basically the champ, but you know.
Oh my goodness. So, let's get started. Usually we like to do a format of new releases that have been that have already come out or are going to come out soon. So this one came out yesterday, Clay. This one's for Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Came out this week. Yeah, it came out yesterday. Technically, it's, you know, like similar to movies. Anytime there's like, it comes out on Friday, it means it comes out on Thursday afternoon for most people, you know, so, but its grand release was yesterday. Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time. I don't know about you guys. I'm just going to put this out there. Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2, back in the PlayStation days, late 90s, early 2000s, those games were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if we needed another one. You know, like, I don't know if there was this overarching need for like, hey, you know what, I could really use another Crash Bandicoot game, which is the exact same game as all the others.
But this
You
time
know?
HD.
Yeah, so, okay, like, they released that like upgraded version of Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3
Right.
back like a year ago or something like that, like the Insane trilogy, where it's like the upgraded graphics and everything like that. It was cool. It's one of those things where it's like, oh great, I love Crash Bandicoot, let's play those.
Right.
I just don't know if there was this like, hey, now we need 4 or 5 or 6 or anything like that, because there's not much difference in these games, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be the first person to say I have not played 4 because it just came out yesterday, but even these hands-on reviews I've seen, they're just like, it's good. I just don't really need more Crash Bandicoot when 1, 2, and 3 are already there. You know, to me, it was just kind of like okay, well, good for them. I hope there's some Crash super fan out there who's like, yes, this is my time.
Well, it would be under this. I would imagine it would be the same people who are like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. You know, those kind of people that would just enjoyed the animation or the nostalgia of it all. That they're going to be able to play Crash Bandicoot again.
But yeah, and on the nostalgia thing, that would be where that Insane trilogy comes into play.
Right.
Like I said, good on anybody who's a diehard Crash Bandicoot fan. I love the commercials from the 90s, you know, like where he's like trolling Microsoft and
Dude,
like Nintendo.
those
all
are
the time,
hilarious.
Sega. Yeah, and they brought a lot of those back, and now it's like the same goofy mascot outfit, but with like a face mask.
Yeah.
And it's so dumb, and like, love those. I think they're hilarious. Crash was always like a great non-official Sony mascot because Sony didn't really have one here in the United States. Like in Japan they do, but over here it was always just like,
Crash
let's
Spyro.
just Crash Spyro. Let's put Kratos up there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like whatever.
It was like Sony's Sonic, right?
Kinda.
Yeah. So, Crash Bandicoot out on October 2nd, yesterday, for PS4 and Xbox One. You can check out the trailer. All right, so next on the list, we got Star Wars Squadron, which I'm super excited about. I want to play this so bad just because I just got a brand new monitor. It's like a super wide, and so now I just want to see it. Like, I know it has support for VR headset, which is probably another level of just wow, right? But I want to play this so bad, and I think it's $30, right? And it already came out yesterday, October 2nd.
It came out yesterday. Yeah. There's already a few bugs on the PC version. They're already working on patching those. I think since the game's out now, I'm not really breaking an NDA or anything, but I was in the beta test for it like a few months ago.
Yeah.
It was good. it had a few problems because beta testing and everything like that, but not even like bugs or anything like that. A few things that I filled out on my survey and everything, and I hope they fixed. The ships felt really sluggish to like maneuver and turn like on the fly and like really fast.
Would you say that they had a feeling of actual weight to them, even though you're like in space, or was it more
even
like
though you're in space,
right? Even though like it,
yeah.
Or was it more of a technical lag?
No, I think it was like maybe the vehicles were heavy for some reason. And which I didn't get why, but hopefully they fixed that. And I'll say some of like the voice work and the cutscenes was kind of weird. Like you had like young Leia, because this takes place like right after Jedi, so it's like you have like younger Leia, but it was like old Leia's voice,
right?
And you're like,
that's kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah, and then whoever they had playing Vader, and it was like I don't even know who this is supposed to be, and that's crazy. But hopefully they fixed them.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing it probably next week. I'm really excited. I'm going to go through it on the PS4. We're going to see how well it goes.
And at first, my impression of this was like, oh, so it's just a multiplayer version for Flight Sim, right? For Star Wars stuff. Apparently, there's a single player story to it.
There's a campaign. Yeah, the beta test I was in had like one mission of the campaign. It was really fun. It was really good, and all the rest was multiplayer modes. There was two main multiplayer modes. It was like there was a deathmatch, and there was this big like objective-based one where you're trying to take down like there's like two sides, like the Empire and the Republic, or the Rebel Alliance, and you're like you both have these big capital ships, and the goal is to take down the capital ship. And there's like there's fighters all over the place, and there's little like sub ships that you can take down and everything. It was really fun.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, well, that's out now for, I believe, Joe Numbers has actually played some of this already, so that
wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, he's totally into that. I think he has a VR headset, so I'm kind of interested to see if he has some of that gameplay already out now. All right then. So the other one that we have is Super Mario Brothers 35, and I think
35.
Yes. So I did not know anything about this until yesterday, which a battle royale of the classic Super Mario Brothers, where you're pitted against 35 people.
34 others.
That's insane. Like
it's a lot. Yeah, it's fun.
You know what it reminds me of? You remember like the Power Glove movie, which was
The Wizard.
The Wizard.
The Wizard.
And you're basically pitted against like what was it, like 3 people in that whole entire tournament of CD?
That was, well, there was a bunch of people, but the finals was like when they debuted Super Mario Brothers 3 at the end. It was Lucas the kid. No, Lucas was the Power Glove guy. The kid, and Fred Savage's brother, and 2 other people.
Fred Savage, who's that? Who is that? That's the
Wonder Years.
Yeah, the Wonder Years, right?
The mole.
Yeah. Oh, the mole.
Yeah.
I don't know why he winces whenever it does like a tight shot on his mole. It's like 2 hairs.
Yeah. So the way it's basically for every enemy that you kill, you can send that enemy to another player's game. So like if you just stomp on a Goomba, that Goomba will now float to another player's game as like a ghost Goomba, or they're like grayed out, but they're still deadly. So like if you just run into them, they'll die. So like there were points in this. So I've already played a few rounds of Super Mario 35. You can choose who you want to send it to. Like at the top, there's like a little like a selector. It'll say like, do you want it to be random? Do you want the most, like the person with the most coins? The person with the least amount of time, or there's a 4th one, I forgot what it was, but you can choose that at will. So I've had it where it's like, hey, here's the start of 1-1, and it's just like a string of like 30 Goombas and Koopas.
I guess I'm gonna have to like give my wife the puppy dog eyes to be like, I might need a Switch, babe. I might need a Switch.
Yeah.
Either that, or I'll just take my son's.
For the kids.
Yeah. For the kids. We'll buy some extra nunchucks later. Just to see if they take to it.
For the kids.
They'll never see it again.
Yeah. The game came out on the 1st, so Thursday. It's free if you are a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber. But this is also one of those weird things where Nintendo says it's only going to be playable till the end of March.
I don't understand that.
And because Nintendo is
because money.
Well, it's a free game, and yeah, you could say the money is maybe their multiplayer servers.
Yeah.
Like keeping those alive, but it's like if people like it,
wouldn't you want to continue developing on top of it?
look, it's a free game. Throw some microtransactions in there. Like, hey, you want to play as Princess Peach now instead of Mario? Boom, $1. You know, like, you want to play as Koopa? Boom, $1. Whatever. Like, just find some way to make some money. You're Nintendo, you're going to make money.
All right, so let's get on with the game news. We just got done with the releases, but the game news is what you're here for, and that's what we're going to give you.
Ooh, whether you like it or not.
Well, with consent. So Resident Evil animated series coming to Netflix, huh? Oh, man.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So,
and it doesn't have Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, so when you are watching Resident Evil media, that is not a video game or a comic or anything like that. You've basically got the garbage movies, and then you've got the CGI stuff.
Right.
And the CGI stuff has always been pretty solid.
Right.
And so this is that side of it. That's like this is that production company. They've done 3 movies so far. Full disclosure, I've only seen the first one.
Which one?
It's like Regeneration or Degeneration or something like that.
Degeneration, we got Damnation and Vendetta.
So I saw Degeneration back when it first came out. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good. Not gonna lie, it was a lot of fun. It was nowhere even closely related to the terrible movies that they make, like the Paul Anderson, Mila Jovovich ones that are just the worst anything ever. Joel actually forced me to go see one of them one time, and it was like I almost died in the theater. I almost died.
Yeah. Funny fact: hog tying is actually a really good skill set.
Yes. You wouldn't think that would come in handy. I'm actually excited for this. I think this has potential to be really good.
So the other thing related to this is that there's also a live action show coming to Netflix, and they haven't announced when or whatnot. The only other information that we have is that Jade Wesker and Billy Wesker, in some sort of association to possibly Albert Wesker. I don't know what's going on there.
So if you know the whole Resident Evil storyline and everything like that, like in one of the DLCs where they talk about, so in part 6 you had like Wesker's like his clone or his son or something like that. That game was terrible, so I don't even remember. But it was like, and then there was also the Wesker Project was revealed, where there was like a whole slew of Wesker.
Right.
And it's not even like just Albert anymore. And so these two that are in this, they could be daughters, they could be clones, or they could be part of the Albert Wesker project that somehow survived. Like, we have no clue until this thing releases.
Right. So Yakuza is in the news again, right? We finally got some information about minimum system requirements for the PC version, as well as some information on the PS5 version coming soon, right?
That was the main meat and potatoes of this article. But before we get there, Joe, since you are my representative for the PC gaming community, looking over these specs, are we happy? Are we sad? Are these acceptable? Will anybody have to go through some big upgrades to play this, or are we pretty safe?
You know what? It's actually pretty easy to run this thing. If you're taking a look at it, like most of the things that you're going to want to take a look at here is obviously processor, memory, and graphics, right? And you're basically talking like about a 3rd gen i5, which is super old, or the equivalent of an AMD FX 8350, which came out almost 10 years ago. So for a processor, if you have something like that or above, you should be fine. For memory, it's 8 gigabytes minimum, which again, most computers are going to have nowadays. So you should be fine there as well. If not, you probably have a dinosaur. You need a couple of upgrades. And then for the graphics card, GTX 660 again came out maybe 6 years ago. You should be fine. For anything else above that, you should be able to run it. No problem, not bad. You should be able to run it. But I'm more interested about what this whole PS5, PS4 situation is going.
So, like I said, the meat and potatoes. Side note, if nobody's played the Yakuza series, Cinderkin, who's not here today, turned me on to this series. Like, we were hanging out like a year or two ago or something like that. And I think it was after Kiwami 2 had just come out. He was playing it and he's like, oh yeah, I think you'd really like this series. So he let me borrow Yakuza 0, which is always on sale now. So if anybody ever wants to get into that series, Yakuza 0 is always like $5. Like, it's on sale like every other day.
Right. Wow.
So Xbox is 1-to-1. It's basically saying like, if you have an Xbox One or a Series X, it's the same game. It's just different load times, different graphics, but it's the same save file, and it's a free upgrade. PS5 said there's going to be an upgrade from the PS4 to 5, but they're not carrying your save file over. And this is something that we've seen recently, where like this has been happening to a few games now. Like Spider-Man on the PS4, not Miles Morales, but Spider-Man, the one that came out in 2018, will not use the same save file if you buy the Ultimate Edition Spider-Man on the PS5, even though it's the same game.
But it's not due to any additions to the game itself, is it? It's literally a one-for-one as far as all the mechanics and everything. Like we're not talking about like hey, there's a new storyline, so everything breaks if we don't do something with the save.
It's the same game. Now, granted, there's a new Peter Parker.
Sure, that's just a brand new graphic skin and whatever and model, whatever.
It's just a character model, yeah. So, but that's it. It's the same game. They haven't put anything else into the game. They're just saying. Like me, I have Spider-Man on the PS4. It's the Game of the Year edition, all the DLC, everything like that. Right. If I put that into my PS5, it'll play the PS4 version on my PS5. But if I want to play new Peter, fancy Ultimate Spider-Man, I have to buy that disc, or I have to buy that game for $70. And it's like, but I already own it.
Yes, you're paying for the new character model.
Yeah, this is where I know it's popular to like hate on Microsoft and Xbox and everything and be a Sony fanboy and everything like that. This is where like Sony doesn't have the best reputation for treating their fans correctly, but nobody sees that. They just go, "Oh, God of War, great! Ooh, Last of Us, yeah, Sony's the greatest, Sony," and it's like, "Oh, Microsoft. What do they have? Forza? Nobody cares. Lol, Microsoft." Microsoft is giving so many good things to gamers right now.
Dude, and it's just like, not only that, but like just the inclusion of crossplay with Nintendo stuff is just like, why not? Let's move on to Farmville here and Zynga.
Oh, let me tell you, this was the big story of the week.
I'm heartbroken.
Okay.
I am. I can't believe it.
My mother can no longer send me any invites to help build her farm.
So, I have never played a single minute of Farmville in my life because I tend to avoid Facebook because they're the worst. But like, I remember when this came out, and even that like South Park episode where like, Stan, water your crops, or Stan, water my crops, or whatever it was. It was like, go. What was it? Go. Something about his grandma wanted something, and I forgot. But it was like that whole episode was so dumb because every time I hear about Farmville, and it was like, so what do you do? And it's like, oh, it's this big social thing where you like build a farm and you can go to other people's farm and help them build a farm and all that stuff. And I'm like,
yeah. So it's work.
Is it like Harvest Moon? Because that game is kind of cool. And then it's like, no, it's not like that at all. And it's like, oh,
yeah.
All right. But I didn't even know it was still alive until this news article came out. And I was like, Farmville shutting down? Holy crap, that's still around? like, I wonder how many people out there are like, what?
Oh, no.
The farm I've had for 15 years is going under?
Yeah, and the one that I haven't logged into for 14 years?
Yeah.
No, all your animals would have been dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, this was such crazy news. I was like, Farmville is still around?
I think,
and then I was like, I wonder who out there is devastated by this.
Yeah, I think this was like a version 1 game of just social media where it was just enough crack to get people that were just constantly on Facebook to do something else. And it was just, it was a wave of things, man. I remember when iPhone or Apple had an announcement on their iPhone, and it said, Farmville is now available on iPhone. And everyone was like, Rah! And I was just like, what is going on here? Like, there's a dedicated app for Farmville now? I was like, all right, cool. But I guess it's not.
If there ever was a killer app to get an iPhone,
that's it.
Farmville.
Yes, publish it now, please. I'm gonna go put on another turtleneck.
All the microtransactions.
I thought this news was awesome.
Yeah, so I guess it's not all bad news because there's a Farmville successor. There's Farmville 2 that's still around.
Is there?
Yeah, so
I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know this existed either. And it's a dedicated app, so now you don't have to do it on Facebook or anything like that. But it's Farmville 2, Tropic something something.
Tropic Escape.
Escape.
Oh, you're basically on an island.
So there you go. I mean, it's not all
Sweet.
bad good news.
This is
Drugs.
Right. There's a new Nintendo Switch bug, I guess, for battery recommendations, and Nintendo just posted it on Twitter a little bit ago. And
I thought this would be a pretty good PSA, kind of like, I don't even know if it's a bug or just a general advisory about the health of your Nintendo Switch kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's the main.
I was reading the like the article that linked to that because it's Nintendo Japan. I can't read Japanese, but it was like their article was basically like, hey, so maybe you have multiple Switches, like maybe you have a full docked one, or you have like a Switch Lite that you travel with or something like that.
Right.
Maybe that like you're at home because of the pandemic and that Switch Lite is sitting in the corner of your room or something like that. So for that kind of use case, so like if you do have a Switch that's not docked, it's not charging, maybe you only use it when you travel somewhere or whatever, just plug it in once every now and then. That's it. That's your use case. Just once a month, just throw it on the charger overnight, unplug it, put it back in the corner. Honestly, like the last time I thought about anything like this was there was a warning a few months ago for the PSP, where if you like PSP batteries are apparently expanding. And they can cause damage to the PSP. So, like, by the way, if you have an old PSP like I do, just break it out, check your battery, make sure it's not blowing up your PSP or
the bulging
like
battery, right?
Yeah, the bulging batteries. Yeah, so I broke
into
mine
a
out.
note situation.
Yeah, I broke mine out. It's still fine. So I was like, that's good.
Smash Brothers is getting new fighters, and speaking about Microsoft really branching out there, huh? With their IPs and letting other companies take advantage of it. So now you're going to get Alex and Steve in Smash Brothers, along with Enderman and I think Zombie.
Zombie?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then recently announced, like about a few hours ago, they also stated that there's going to be multiple skins for the Mii fighters. And so now you're going to be able to be like Pig. I think there was a couple of other ones.
There's Travis Touchdown.
Yep. And then
Bomberman.
Bomberman's also now a skin. I think he's Brawler, right? And then the Sword guy is, you're going to be able to do diamond armor on Sword Fighter.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. Now you have Microsoft and Nintendo. Now it's time for Apex Legends. Because now we have crossplay coming in on October 6th, I want to believe. Yeah, it starts October 6th. There's new patch, new skins, everything's coming in, but crossplay beta is also coming here. So that's actually pretty cool because they mentioned,
awesome.
Yeah, they mentioned that you're going to be able to do PS5 and Xbox, and on the PC it's going to be through Origin, right? So I think you can only get Apex through Origin on the PC anyway. There's no Steam or nothing like that variant.
I was gonna say EA brought a lot of their stuff to Steam in the past month, so I don't know if it's on Steam yet or not. But if it's, or which I think Origin, actually that name is going away. And
Yeah, they're doing something
EA
new.
Access now or something like that.
Yeah, they announced it like about a month and a half ago that I got a newsletter or something like that that's saying, hey, we're gonna redo the whole client. I'm like, cool.
I know a lot of Apex players, so it's like this was pretty cool news to them. Not that it's going to change much for them, but it's basically just a bigger player base to jump into games with now. So like more variety. This whole crossplay thing's taken off, man. It's like, this is great.
Especially for right now with the whole like real world situations going on, right? Like there's no time. Not only was there a depletion in console access at the store because now everything's off the shelf. Like I went to a Walmart. Oh, I think I was looking for hardware for my kid's new computer, and I looked over at the console section and I was just like, where is all this stuff? And everything was gone. And I was just like, maybe they're having issues getting new stock or whatever. It's like, oh no, people bought them. I was like, okay, well, everybody's stuck at home now, so I guess time for video games. And this is perfect.
Nintendo Switch was like really like outrageous.
Switch.
I barely even found one like for my birthday.
The Switch and Animal Crossing were like the hot items at the beginning of all this. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so last one on the list. Who's still under the World of Warcraft? Huh? Who's still dabbing into that a little bit? No.
I've kind of calmed down on my addiction.
Yeah.
I've been clean for over 10 years now.
12 steps, people. First, you gotta admit that it's a problem, but we'll go on. If you want a new flavor, right? Well, it's gonna get delayed. Enjoy that. Enjoy that delayed Shadowlands, but you're still gonna get the pre-patch on October 13th. It looks like.
Yeah, I work with a bunch of nerds, you know, IT guy, you know, that's how it is, and and we have our little chat room kind of thing, and I saw the article and I'm like, oh hey, by the way, Shadowlands just got delayed, and it's like,
what? It
was just like, what? What? People were like losing their minds.
I had plans.
So many plans. Like,
dude, I will.
Yeah, they were losing it.
I will admit, when I was on it, like there was planning involved. There was agreements had with certain office members. You know, like there was possible. I'm gonna be late for work, Clay. Do you mind, like, you know, taking care of stuff for me real quick? I'll be there eventually. But really, what it was just like, man, it's like 5 a.m. I should probably go to sleep.
That's what WoW will do, man. It'll suck you in.
Yeah. All right, well, we're gonna kill it off. Appreciate everybody for coming.
Thanks everybody.
Hope to see you next week, and then we'll have more for you then. See you later.
Perfect. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.